Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please feel free to interject. We have a great working relationship. I'm so proud of what we were able to do with permitting. I continue to hear about the success of a bill that came out of this committee. All of us here, sitting here today, voted for it, 15-4, and I'd like to get that on the floor of the Senate as quickly as possible.
Amen.
And thank you for holding this hearing today, and I'd like also, as quickly as possible, to see this come to fruition, what we're talking about today. This is a critically important topic. Nuclear fusion, it's a process of combining two elements, such as hydrogen, to create a heavier element and generate energy. That's what it's about, generating energy. It is the atomic reaction that powers our sun, and if harnessed here on Earth, offers unlimited emission-free energy, often considered the holy grail of energy production. This committee last considered nuclear fusion. It doesn't seem that long ago, but it was actually 2 years ago that we had the hearing on this, and since then there has been some noteworthy progress that's been made. In December of 2022, the Department of Energy announced that scientists at the Lawrence Livermore National Lab achieved scientific break-even. This occurs when a fusion experiment produces more energy than it uses. And since then, the scientists at the Lawrence Livermore National Lab have been able to repeat this process on 4 additional occasions. Over the last 2 years, we have also witnessed growth of the fusion industry. 2022, there were 33 companies working on this in the private sector. Now there are 45. According to the Fusion Industry Association, these companies have attracted over $7 billion of private investment, with over $900 million in new funding just in the last year. So it's clear that investors do see great potential in fusion. While these developments are encouraging, we need to remain clear-eyed about the challenges ahead. No question that scientific break-even was significant, yet scientists have not yet been able to reliably and consistently reproduce the reactant. Mastering scientific break-even is necessary before nuclear fusion can be commercially available. Another challenge that scientists face is converting fusion energy into electricity. To date, no fusion reactor has made it to this stage. Yet several fusion companies expect to put electrons on the grid in the next decade. Helion, one of our witnesses today, has signed a power purchase agreement to provide Microsoft with electricity by 2028. Helion has signed an agreement to provide electricity to Nucor, a steel producer, around 2030. I'm interested to hear how the plans from Helion are to meet these ambitious commitments. Advances in fusion energy come at a time when America's demand for electricity is expected to grow rapidly. I brought an article here previously from the New York Times saying by 5 years from now that the need for energy nationwide would be like adding a new California to the grid as a result of all the areas where new energy is needed. And much of this demand is going to be driven by data centers powering artificial intelligence, by Bitcoin mining, by cloud computing, storage centers. If we can't provide these facilities with affordable and reliable power, America is going to cede its leadership position to these critical technology. China understands this. They understand the race for artificial intelligence is also a race to secure the energy to power the computers. This is one reason why China is aggressively competing with us on fusion. Mr. Chairman, I think you and I talked about this Wall Street Journal article headline. This was Tuesday, July 9th. Beijing leads U.S. in fusion race. You can see that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's this year.
That's this year, but it's not quite accurate compared to what we've been able to do in the past.
Apparently it's fake news, but I'm not convinced. I'm concerned. It's a concern that
we're not out of the race yet. Don't give up on the U.S.
It quotes Dr. Alon, who leads the Department of Energy's fusion office and is one of our witnesses here today. So we're going to get that, because according to your quote in this article, China appears to be following our roadmap of how to commercialize fusion energy. Yeah, so they tend to have they have this ability to copycat what we do and then try to advance it in ways to get ahead of us, to leapfrog us. His quote is, "They're building our long-range plan," and you say that's very frustrating, as you can imagine, because that's the way China does it on so many things. So I'm interested to learn what we need to do to protect American interests and regain our competitive advantage. I would also like to learn how the department can become a better steward of taxpayer dollars when it comes to fusion research. I want to thank the witnesses for being here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I look forward to the testimony. I know everyone here does.
Thank you, Senator. I'm going to introduce